Hey everyone! Welcome to our channel, English Pro Through Stories. Are you determined to improve your English but finding yourself overwhelmed with where to begin? You're not alone. Millions around the world embark on the journey of learning English each year, and many discover that with the right approach, what seems challenging can become enjoyable and rewarding. This comprehensive guide will walk you through proven strategies to help you develop fluency in this global language, whether you're a complete beginner or looking to advance your existing skills. Why graded reader materials transform your learning experience. The concept of graded reader resources has revolutionized how people learn English. Graded readers are books specifically designed for language learners, with vocabulary and grammar carefully controlled to match different proficiency levels. When you use graded reader materials, you experience the satisfaction of reading complete stories while gradually building your skills. Beginning your English learning journey with graded readers provides an accessible entry point to authentic language. Unlike traditional textbooks, these resources allow you to absorb grammar patterns naturally as you follow engaging narratives. Many learners report that using graded reader books significantly accelerated their progress and made learning English far more enjoyable. I remember when I first discovered graded readers during my own language studies. The story about a mysterious house on a hill was technically simple, using only basic present tense verbs and common vocabulary, but it captivated my imagination. This positive experience with a graded reader motivated me to continue when more traditional study methods had left me feeling discouraged. The magic of English through story approach. There's something uniquely powerful about learning language through narrative. The English through story method leverages our brain's natural affinity for storytelling to make vocabulary and grammar more memorable. When you learn English through stories, you encounter words in meaningful contexts rather than as isolated items on a vocabulary list. The English through story approach creates emotional connections to the language. When you laugh, worry, or feel curious about characters in an English story, those linguistic elements become anchored to genuine emotional responses. This emotional engagement when you learn English through stories helps information transfer from short-term to long-term memory far more effectively. Many successful language learners credit the English through story method with their breakthrough moments. Stories provide natural repetition of key language patterns without the tedium of mechanical drills. Whether through folk tales, contemporary fiction, or personal narratives, the English through story technique makes language acquisition feel less like study and more like discovery. Essential strategies to improve your English every day. Consistency trumps intensity when you want to improve your English. Small daily practices yield better results than occasional marathon sessions. Creating manageable habits that help you improve your English incrementally builds lasting skills and prevents burnout. To genuinely improve your English, integrate language learning into your existing routines. Listen to English podcasts during your commute, label household items with English words, or change your phone's language settings. These small adjustments create numerous touch points with the language throughout your day, accelerating how quickly you improve your English. Remember that deliberate practice is key when you want to improve your English. Rather than passive exposure, set specific goals for each practice session. Perhaps you'll focus on mastering 5 phrasal verbs, perfecting the pronunciation of a problematic sound, or using conditional sentences correctly. This targeted approach to improve your English yields measurable progress that maintains motivation. The power of listening in language acquisition. To effectively Learn English, start by training your ears. Listen to English in various forms: conversations, podcasts, audiobooks, and songs. Consistent exposure helps your brain recognize sound patterns that initially might seem like an indistinguishable stream of noise. When you regularly listen to English content, choose materials slightly above your current level. This comprehensible input approach stretches your abilities without causing frustration. As you continue to listen to English media, you'll notice improvements in your ability to distinguish words and understand natural speech patterns. Create designated times in your schedule to actively listen to English audio. While passive listening, having English playing in the background, has some value, focused listening sessions where you concentrate fully on understanding yield faster progress. These dedicated periods when you listen to English deliberately should include some active tasks, such as noting new expressions or summarizing what you've heard. Developing speaking confidence. Many language learners acquire substantial passive knowledge, but hesitate to speak English. However, productive skills develop primarily through practice. Find opportunities to speak English regularly, whether through language exchange partners, group conversation classes, or speaking to yourself if necessary. When you begin to speak English more frequently, you might feel self-conscious about mistakes. Remember that errors are valuable feedback that help refine your understanding. Each time you speak English and receive correction, you're strengthening neural pathways and improving your language map. Look for low-pressure environments to practice English speaking. Online language communities often offer supportive spaces where learners encourage each other. As you practice English conversation more regularly, your confidence will grow alongside your competence. Reading. Building vocabulary in context. When you read English materials regularly, you naturally encounter vocabulary in meaningful contexts. Start with simplified texts, perhaps children's books or specially designed beginner materials, and gradually challenge yourself with more complex English reading as your skills develop. Make your English reading active rather than passive. Highlight unfamiliar words, look them up in an English dictionary, and note them for later review. This engaged approach to reading English content maximizes learning from each text. Vary the types of material you read English in. News articles, blog posts, short stories, and novels each offer different vocabulary sets and writing styles. This diversity in what you read English in exposes you to a broader range of language and keeps the learning process interesting. Writing. Strengthening grammar and expression. To write English effectively, start with manageable goals. Consider keeping an English journal where you record daily thoughts, reactions to things you've learned, or summaries of content you've consumed in English. When you write English regularly, you practice applying grammar rules and vocabulary in context. As you develop your ability to write English, seek feedback from teachers, language exchange partners, or online communities. Constructive criticism on your English writing highlights patterns of errors you might not notice yourself and accelerates improvement. Challenge yourself to write English in different formats, perhaps personal reflections, formal arguments, creative stories, or professional emails. Each genre requires different structures and vocabulary. This varied approach to writing English builds versatility and confidence across communication contexts. Multimedia resources for comprehensive learning. Watch English videos regularly to improve comprehension and pronunciation. When you watch English shows with subtitles, you connect written words with their spoken form. Choose content that genuinely interests you, whether documentaries, comedies, educational videos, or vlogs. Many learners find that when they watch English videos designed specifically for language students, they benefit from the careful pacing and vocabulary control. However, authentic materials made for native speakers provide valuable exposure to natural language patterns. Balancing both as you watch English shows creates a well-rounded learning experience. English podcasts offer another excellent resource for developing listening skills. Download English podcasts about topics that interest you and listen during commutes, exercise, or household chores. The diverse voices and accents in different English podcasts train your ear for real-world conversations. Building vocabulary through multiple approaches. Create English flashcards for new words and expressions you encounter. Modern spaced repetition apps make English flashcards more effective by showing you words at optimal intervals for memory formation. When creating your English flashcards, include example sentences that demonstrate usage in context. Use an English dictionary specifically designed for learners. A good learner's English dictionary provides simple explanations, example sentences, and pronunciation guides. Keep your English dictionary app accessible on your phone to look up unfamiliar words immediately when encountered. Group vocabulary thematically as you learn. Rather than memorizing random lists, organize words into meaningful categories, such as kitchen items, emotions, or business terminology. This semantic organization makes retrieval easier and helps you build a comprehensive mental lexicon of English vocabulary. Mastering English pronunciation. Good English pronunciation requires conscious practice and feedback. Record yourself speaking and compare your English pronunciation with native speaker models. Focus particularly on sounds that don't exist in your native language. Work on your English pronunciation by practicing minimal pairs, words that differ by just one sound, like ship, sheep, or bat, bad. These focused exercises train your ear to distinguish subtle differences and help your mouth form unfamiliar sounds correctly. Listen to different English accents to develop flexibility in comprehension. English is spoken worldwide with numerous English accents, and exposure to this diversity prepares you for real-world communication. Try mimicking different English accents as a pronunciation exercise that builds articulatory flexibility. Making English part of your daily life. The most successful learners integrate English into their regular routine. Change your phone's language settings, follow English online content creators, or join English online communities related to your hobbies or professional interests. This integration helps you learn English naturally through meaningful engagement. Play English games that make learning enjoyable rather than tedious. Many vocabulary and grammar. English games are available as apps or websites. These English games transform learning from a chore into entertainment, increasing both engagement and retention. Find ways to make English relevant to your personal goals and interests. If you enjoy cooking, follow English language recipe videos. If you're a sports enthusiast, read match reports in English. This personalized approach to learning English maintains motivation through genuine interest. Understanding cultural context. Language never exists in isolation from culture. Understanding English culture enhances your grasp of idiomatic expressions, humor, and cultural references. Learn about English culture through books, documentaries, and cultural practices from various English-speaking regions. Knowledge of English culture provides context for language usage that textbooks often miss. Idioms like raining cats and dogs or break a leg make little sense without cultural context. Exploring English culture alongside the language itself creates deeper understanding and more authentic communication. Remember that English is a global language with many cultural variations. Australian, British, American, Indian, and Nigerian English, among many others, each have unique cultural contexts. This diversity of English culture reflects the language's worldwide reach and adaptation. Creating effective sentences and building grammar. Practice forming English sentences of increasing complexity. Start with basic subject-verb-object English sentences, then gradually incorporate clauses, conjunctions, and more sophisticated structures. Writing varied English sentences regularly strengthens your grammatical flexibility. Rather than memorizing abstract grammar rules in isolation, notice patterns in the English sentences you encounter through reading and listening. This inductive approach to grammar helps you internalize structures more naturally than deductive study alone. Challenge yourself to transform English sentences from one form to another, perhaps changing tenses, converting active to passive voice, or combining simple sentences into complex ones. These manipulation exercises build a deeper understanding of how English sentences function. The learning journey. Setting goals and tracking progress. Remember that learning English is a marathon, not a sprint. Your English learning journey will have natural ups and downs, but consistent effort yields results over time. Track your progress through your English learning journey by periodically reviewing old journal entries, recordings, or test scores. Set both short-term and long-term goals for your English learning journey. Perhaps you aim to learn 5 new phrasal verbs this week, short-term, while working toward giving a 15-minute presentation in English next quarter, long-term. This balance keeps you motivated through immediately achievable targets while moving you toward significant milestones. Celebrate progress along your English learning journey, no matter how small. Each new word mastered, each conversation successfully navigated, and each piece of content understood represents real achievement. Acknowledging these successes maintains motivation during challenging phases of learning English. Getting help online, digital resources, and communities. Fortunately, you can learn English online through numerous platforms offering structured courses, conversation practice, and feedback. Many resources to learn English online are free or affordably priced, making quality education accessible globally. When you choose to learn English online, look for interactive platforms that provide practice across all language skills, not just grammar exercises. The best resources to learn English online include speaking practice, writing feedback, and authentic listening materials. Join communities of fellow learners online. Forums, social media groups, and language exchange platforms connect you with others on similar English learning journeys. These communities provide motivation, accountability, and the opportunity to practice English in a supportive environment. Language learning habits that make a difference. Study a little bit every day instead of studying a lot once in a while. This helps you learn better and build good habits. Use your free time to learn. Listen to podcasts while traveling, review flashcards while waiting, or think in English during your daily tasks. These small moments add up. Be interested and open to learning. Ask questions, learn new words, and enjoy the process of improving your English. Common challenges and how to overcome them. Many learners hit plateaus where progress seems to stall. When this happens in your English learning journey, try changing your approach. If you've focused heavily on reading, perhaps shift emphasis to speaking practice. This rebalancing often reignites progress. Pronunciation difficulties frustrate many English learners. If particular sounds prove challenging in your English pronunciation, try exercises that isolate those specific phonemes. Videos demonstrating mouth positions or one-on-one sessions with pronunciation coaches can provide breakthrough moments. Vocabulary retention challenges many students. If you struggle to remember words, try associating them with mental images, stories, or personal connections. These memory hooks make vocabulary more likely to stick as you learn English. Learning English for specific purposes. Those learning English for academic purposes need specialized vocabulary and formal writing skills. University preparation courses and academic English online resources can provide targeted support for this specific context. Business professionals have different needs in their English learning journey. Focus on email etiquette, presentation language, negotiation vocabulary, and small talk for professional settings. These specialized skills make professional English more effective. If you're learning English for travel purposes, prioritize practical conversation skills, navigation vocabulary, and cultural etiquette. Role-playing common travel scenarios helps prepare you for real-world situations you'll encounter. The importance of immersion experiences. Create immersive experiences even without traveling abroad. Designate English-only periods in your day, attend language meetups, or participate in English conversation clubs. These immersion experiences accelerate your ability to speak English fluently. If possible, consider language study trips or exchange programs. Even short periods in English-speaking environments provide intensive practice and cultural insights that accelerate your English learning journey dramatically. Virtual immersion offers an accessible alternative. Online language exchange sessions, English-speaking roommates on video calls, or virtual reality language platforms provide immersive practice opportunities without travel. Advanced techniques for intermediate and advanced learners. Once you've mastered basics, focus on colloquial expressions and idioms. These phrases often prove challenging for non-native speakers, but are essential for natural-sounding English. Collecting and practicing idioms systematically helps you improve your English to near-native levels. Work on reducing your native accent if desired. While accent reduction isn't necessary for clear communication, some learners prefer to sound more like native speakers. Specialized English pronunciation training with phonetics experts can help achieve this goal. Develop precision in word choice. Advanced learners benefit from understanding subtle differences between near synonyms. When you deliberately choose between stroll, wander, and amble, rather than always using walk, you demonstrate sophisticated language control. Maintaining motivation throughout your language journey. Find an accountability partner on the same English learning journey. Regular check-ins with someone who shares your goals creates mutual support and helpful accountability. Join challenges or public commitments. Perhaps a 30-day streak of journal entries or a goal to read 10 graded readers in a month. These structured challenges provide momentum and clear targets. Connect language learning to meaningful life goals. Understanding how English proficiency supports your career advancement, educational opportunities, or personal relationships provides powerful motivation during difficult phases of study. Measuring progress effectively. Periodic assessment helps track improvement objectively. Standardized tests like IELTS, TOEFL, or Cambridge exams provide benchmarks on your English learning journey. Keep samples of your writing and speaking over time. Comparing current performance with past examples often reveals progress that day-to-day study obscures. These concrete demonstrations of how you improve your English build confidence. Seek feedback from native speakers or qualified teachers periodically. External evaluation catches fossilized errors and provides direction for future study priorities. Embracing technology in language learning. Language learning apps offer convenient practice opportunities. While apps shouldn't constitute your entire approach to learning English, they provide valuable supplementary practice, especially for vocabulary building and grammar reinforcement. Speech recognition technology helps improve pronunciation. Apps that analyze your English pronunciation provide immediate feedback without human intervention, allowing unlimited practice attempts without embarrassment. AI writing assistants support learners by highlighting errors and suggesting improvements. When used thoughtfully, not just for corrections, but understanding the principles behind them, these tools accelerate writing development. The role of translation in modern language learning. Strategic use of translation can support your English learning journey. While excessive translation hinders thinking directly in English, judicious comparison between languages helps clarify concepts and prevents misunderstandings. Translation exercises build awareness of false friends and language interference. Comparing how concepts express differently across languages develops nuanced understanding of both languages. Professional translation activities challenge advanced learners to capture not just literal meaning, but cultural nuances, idioms, and stylistic elements across languages. Learning strategies based on cognitive science. Spaced repetition optimizes review schedules. Rather than cramming vocabulary, review words at gradually increasing intervals to maximize long-term retention as you learn English vocabulary. Interleaved practice mixes different skills and topics rather than focusing on one area exclusively. This approach better mirrors real-world language use and builds more robust neural connections. Retrieval practice strengthens memory more effectively than passive review. Actively recalling information, perhaps by writing what you remember about a topic before checking notes, builds stronger memory pathways. Resources for continued growth. Language learning podcasts offer both inspiration and practical tips, as well as language practice and methodological guidance to support your English learning journey. YouTube channels dedicated to English learning provide free, high-quality instruction on specific grammar points, pronunciation challenges, and vocabulary building. Visual demonstrations particularly benefit certain learning styles. Learning English is ultimately a journey without a final destination. Even native speakers continuously expand their vocabulary and refine their communication skills throughout life. This perspective helps maintain a growth mindset rather than pursuing an unattainable, perfect endpoint. The skills you develop through your English learning journey extend beyond language proficiency. The persistence, cultural awareness, and metacognitive strategies you cultivate transfer to other learning endeavors and enrich your cognitive capabilities broadly. Remember that every expert was once a beginner. The fluent English speakers you admire started exactly where you are now. With dedication to effective methods, particularly using graded reader materials, embracing the English through story approach, and finding daily opportunities to improve your English, you'll develop the communication skills that connect you with a global community of English speakers. Your English learning journey represents not just the acquisition of a skill, but an expansion of your identity and worldview. Each new word and expression gives you access to new ideas, relationships, and opportunities. Embrace this adventure with patience, curiosity, and determination, knowing that consistent effort yields remarkable results over time.